So far, we've looked at the dark and light in photographs and what to do about that. We've also looked at the colour balance in photographs and what to do about that. What we haven't looked at is how saturated the colours are in a photograph, and this photo here is a good case in point. Now, as sometimes happens with newborn babies, this little fella's liver is taking a little while to catch up with the rest of his body, so he's a bit jaundiced. Alright, let's try and use Photoshop to perform a minor medical miracle. We'll come up to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation. The main thing is, I want to try and correct this baby's head. It's looking quite yellowy orange and really rather intense. I need to knock back that colour and maybe shift it around a bit. I'd also like to try and do something with this blue. It's looking a bit washed out. I'd like it to be just a little bit more intense. Now, I've got my global hue shift. I've got my master channel involved at the moment, and I can shift it around. And as you can see, I can shift the hue a little bit. I can also take a look at the saturation, how intense the colours are, not back, almost black and white, way over the top. And lightness, obviously how light and dark it is. When you want to know what a slider does, give it big rocks backwards and forwards like this. It'll give you a clear idea. But when you make your adjustments, it's little steps. So I'm going to press Alt to reset. Hand off Alt, it goes back to cancel. Now, I want to take a look at, well, these yellow, look, is it yellow or is it red? Let's try the yellow channel here. As soon as I do that, did you notice I get this little rainbow here with this colour range here? That is what Photoshop is defining as the yellows, and I've got these ranges either side. But I've also got an eyedropper, and if I come and click on the baby's skin, you can see I've got that kind of orangey yellow, and it's renamed it to reds too. Now, if I move around, I'm going to shift everything in that colour range, and if you notice the blue isn't moving, look, the blue is around here somewhere. I'm only shifting stuff which is within this colour range. Well, it was quite orangey yellow. I'll make it a little bit redder by moving the hue that way a little bit, but mainly what I need to do is to take back the saturation. About there. A little bit lighter maybe? Just a little bit, but newborn babies tend to have quite deep red skin. I'm also going to take a look, where's my blues? It's saying they're around here. Let's take the eyedropper again and find out. Yeah, it's a little bit shifted along. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's try taking that, maybe making those blues. I might affect it, yes, you can see. They're the blues. If I push it too far, look, I'm starting to get some nasty little artifacts here. But for a more subtle shift, maybe make it a little bit darker. Okay, let's try that. Right, that's my image there. I only wanted to concentrate on the skin and his suit. Let's check that with the original image. Oh yeah, it's only when you look at the original image, so often, you realise what you've actually done. Let's look at the corrected image. Yeah, much healthier skin colour, and just a little bit more intense with the blue of his sleep suit. Got a slightly different problem with this one. The skin tones are looking a little bit washed out. In general, I'd like the boys to be just a little bit more, have a little bit more colour about them, but they're surrounded by colours which are brighter than they are. So let's come to our adjustments, hue saturation. Well, there's no real kind of range of colours which are isolated like with the last one. Like if I come to here and I adjust the saturation, you can see I'm adjusting all different parts of the picture at the same time. So I'm going to cancel this. Instead, I'm going to come to Image, Adjustments, Vibrance. This is, well, it's been around for a while in Photoshop, but not for a long time. Let me show you the problem. If I just do the saturation slider, every colour in there is getting brighter, more intense, less grey, and you can see not really working there. I'm up to about 64 there. The colours in the background are way too intense, and the skin colours aren't really working there. Alright, so let's call up another layer. Go to Adjustments, Vibrance again. This time I'm going to adjust the Vibrance slider. Moving it up. Well, 64, that's where I was last time, and now I'm getting a much more natural effect. In fact, I can whack that all the way up to, what, 99? 100? Click on OK. Let's compare that with the original file. Yeah, the colours are more intense, but they're not over the top. So what's happening here? Vibrance works differently to saturation. With saturation, every single pixel in the image is going to be made more intense. And if the colour is already more intense, it's going to go a bit over the top and look terrible. Vibrance works differently. It takes a look at a pixel, and if the pixel is already pretty strong in colour, or pretty vibrant in colour, it's not going to affect it too much. It tends to find the pixels which are a little bit more knocked back, a little bit more greyish in tone, and increase the saturation of those particular pixels. It works especially well on things like skin tones. And if we compare, this is our vibrance layer. That's what saturation did. You can see the whole thing just gets overblown. Vibrance much less so. It's a bit like if any of you use any audio equipment, a compressor. A sound compressor, what it does, it takes all the loud signals and stops them from getting too loud, but it also gives the chance for the less loud signals to become louder, so the whole thing becomes compressed. It's like that with the vibrancy in Photoshop, but instead of containing the louder sounds, it contains the louder colours and allows the more muted colours to come through and get a little bit more saturated. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, maybe you consider clicking on one of the links below and check out my game called Disco Baby, which is on the iTunes Store or Android stores like Google Play. It has 3 different games in it, a memory game, a maths game for children, and a dance along with me game for toddlers to join in with. Thanks for your time.